Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Welcome to my Holly Jolly Christmas DIYs and Decor series. My first project is using this leftover Dollar Tree cookie sheet. It's the exterior part of it because I always cut out the inside to do some galvanized projects. I'm going to cut pieces probably about 2.5 to 3 inches in length, and I'm going to need 8 of them. Next, I'm going to fold in the edges that are cut because I don't want to hurt myself, but I'm also doing this to make it evenly thick all the way around. What I'm going to be doing is giving this a little bit of an angle because this is going to become the blades of the windmill. Once I have all the angles the way I want them, I'm going to just take my craft tool that I have from the Dollar Tree and use the bottom end to flatten out the creases. So here are all the windmill blades, and now I'm just taking a tiny little screwdriver and poking a hole right in the center. This is where the wire is going to go to hold the blades all together. I'm using a fairly thick wire and I'm going to trim off about 8 inches to give me a good section to work with. Now I'm going to just feed the wire through the blades, making sure that I put the blades on all in the same direction. Using a little bit of hot glue, I'm just going to place it where the blade meets the wire to hold the blade in place. The blades are all secure, so now I can just trim the wire to the length I need. I'm going to then feed the wire into the hole of each of the blades right next to the opening and hot glue that in place. I used one of my little clamps to hold the wire in place while it dried, and then I added some more hot glue to the back of the windmill blades. To make the little center circle of the windmill, I just took a piece of the Dollar Tree cookie sheet, folded it in half, and then cut out a circle shape. I ended up cutting it a little bit smaller, and then I just hot glued it on top of the other blades. Now I'm going to use this little 1/4 inch dowel that I had in a pack of 10, and I'm just going to cut it in half. I'm going to use some bamboo skewers for the cross pieces just to make it a little bit easier to work with. I'm going to just go ahead and trim them with my snips and make them a little bit larger as I go down. There will be 4 altogether. Using hot glue, I'm going to put them all together. Taking one more dowel and cutting it to length, I need support for the back of the ladder part of the windmill so it can stand up properly. This proved to be just a little bit tricky, but what I needed to do was just hot glue it to the top of the ladder so it could stand up on its own. I also added a little piece of bamboo skewer at the top so I would have something for that back piece to lean onto and get glued together. For even more stability of the back piece, I took a few longer pieces of bamboo skewer and glued them on the rung of one of the ladder pieces up front and then put it on the back dowel piece. Using a medium gray acrylic paint, I just painted all of the ladder portion and the pieces at the back with a couple coats to make it look like it was metal. To get the blades glued onto the ladder frame, I just used a wooden bead, glued that to the very front of the ladder portion, and then glued the blades right on top of that. Project number 2 is this adorable little barn birdhouse. I'm going to remove the dowel and the string because I won't need those. Using a piece of the aluminum from a Dollar Tree cookie sheet, I'm going to put the roof on because I want this barn to have more of a metal roof look to it. So on each of the angles, I'm going to just measure out what I need with a little bit to hang over. Using hot glue, I'm going to glue the first piece on. Remember, when you're using hot glue and these Dollar Tree aluminum sheets, it gets pretty warm, so you've got to be very careful. I'm centering it here now, and then I'm going to fold down those little edges so it covers up the wood frame. I'm going to cut out a square in each of the corners so I don't have any overlap. Here's the roof all done. The only other thing that I'm going to do is put a small strip right across the center and just cover up any of the little wood pieces that are still showing through. To fill in the hole where the dowel was, I just trimmed the dowel in half, and I'm just going to add some hot glue and push it all the way through. This next part is fairly simple. I'm just going to start painting the little barn. Underneath the roof, I'm going to paint it black. I'll also paint the base of it black. Then I'm going to take some of my red chalk paint, add a tiny little bit of black because I'm not a really bright red person, make it more of a deeper red, and the barn will get just one coat. Now it's time to announce the winner of my 10K giveaway. Congratulations, Shannon Hinter. Thank you so much for your support and for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited for you, Shannon. You can email me your address, or you can find me on Instagram at the Schwowin's Nest. You've got 2 days, 48 hours to contact me to claim your prize. I'm going to use white and a tiny little detail brush to paint the barn doors. To cover up the hole where the birds would go in, I painted a little piece of cardboard, and now I'm just going to cut out a circle. I'm taking this little piece of garland. It was just one of the branches that I snipped off. I'm going to trim it down with my scissors and give it a bit of a haircut. I don't want the fringes to be very long because I'm going to turn this into a tiny little wreath. I'm going to bend the wire into a cute little circle, trim off some of the edges, and then hot glue it right onto the cardboard. To add a little bit more holiday flair, I'm going to glue on these little foam beads that are covered with red glitter. Now I'm going to take some little mini trees from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to trim off that little gold base and hot glue one of them on each side of the barn doors. Here's a look at how these two projects turned out. I hope you enjoyed my projects today. If you did, I'd love for you to stick around a while. Click that subscribe button. Those two black arrows will show you exactly where to hit. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.